Should you buy the NFT dip? Now, first up, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You got to do your own research before moving into this super speculative market that is the NFT space. But right now, the ETH prices have dropped a whole bunch on some projects, but then also the fiat values when it comes down to ETH has dropped. So you had this compound effect where what would be considered a $200,000 or $300,000 purchase is going for around $80,000. What would have been sort of $30,000 or $40,000 is going for $10,000. So right now, the people that I know have these shopping lists that are ready to pull the trigger. So should you pull the trigger on that NFT that you've been eyeing off? I think in the short term right now, I think you should wait. I think there is the possibility of more of a downside when it comes down to ETH. And I think there is still a bit of fear in the market, and another drop, another trigger, another 20 or 30% drop on ETH would scare a lot of people. And then a lot of people would then move out of the market, which then means if you've got fiat on the side, you can then load back up to then get 20 or 30% more ETH. And then people will also start to actually kind of list lower. This also means that your strategy could also not necessarily be buying off the floor, but putting in collection offers. The idea that if a project is a little bit illiquid, people may actually take an offer on something a little bit lower than floor just to kind of offload that holding. Now, I know this sounds a little bit bearish. This isn't like, hey, buy the dip, pump it, let's go. But the idea here is to kind of preserve some of your capital to actually get a bargain and a deal. I know someone that had been liquidating a whole bunch of their holdings for a lot of time and finally got their grail. They got a Bored Ape. That's what they wanted to do, and they'd been making these flips. They had a Mutant, they then had some CloneX, they had a bunch of different plays, and they actually did it, and it is my boy Phil. I'll link to Phil's channel up here. Phil's got a YouTube channel, go sub to him. The idea with Phil is he was making these plays. He's a smart guy, and he's also old enough and mature enough to know that the markets come in cycles. He didn't have all of his net worth, all of his value in sort of crypto or in NFTs. He was able to play the market. He was ruthless with his buys and sells and able to actually kind of make a deal and actually grab this ape, which is his ape. Now, I think this is a great play by Phil because for him, he's going to be able to use that to leverage kind of what he wants to do within the space. Now, I think that this is a play that a lot of people can actually do right now. There are people that are capitalized ready on the side to go, but you don't need to rush in to make that decision. The idea is you can kind of see where it happens because the consensus is that ETH is going to be floating around at sort of a low price point for a while. So it means that you can then snap up a good deal if it does kind of wick down. And then the idea is that you can then actually make some offers. And then when people do realize that they aren't able to kind of make some huge money, people may just liquidate some of these blue chip NFTs that you've got your eye on, and you will be able to get a bit of a deal. Hey, real quick, over 50% of you aren't subscribed. So scroll down there, hit up subscribe, and also jump over onto Twitter and follow me on Twitter. Anyway, let's kick on with the video. So currently what I'm doing is I'm having a look. I'm not actually making any purchases currently because I want to see where this plays out. We're not sure what's going to happen over the next sort of 4 or 5 week period, but in that period in time, there could be a cool off and you may be able to get a deal. So I don't think you should buy the dip right now, but you should get your shopping list ready. Get your shopping list ready in terms of ETH, sort of an ETH price, but then also a fiat price, because you then got both to work off. Because if you can then set a price point of say $10,000 for a mutant, and then it does come down, you can then go monitor that each day, set that, and then you go, okay, when it hits that price point, I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to get one. Because at some point in time, there will be this coincide with the ETH price dropping and the kind of ETH value of the NFT dropping in this perfect correlation, and you just able to come in and just kind of like load up some ETH with some fiat and grab what you want. And I think this is the smart play, especially some of these blue chips, these ones that have been around for a while, these ones that have proven will be quite good. Now, there will be particular speculations, things will pop off. I'm not saying you don't need to do any mints. I'm not saying you don't need to kind of engage in other aspects, but right now, don't jump in a hasty aspect. There may be a way to kind of go, hey, something is at a 75% discount. I should jump in and get it straight away, but it's holding back and ensure that it is the right decision, because if it does go down another 20%, are you able to stomach that, or did you need that to deploy on something a little bit more extravagant later on down the line? So that is my kind of thought process. This is the kind of, it's almost just a bit of a reassuring sort of friend on your side going, hey, be responsible and be considered with your decisions. Have a plan, have an execution of what you actually want to do, how you want to do it, set that down and then execute on that. Because if you physically write down a plan and you have sort of a criteria set in place and it hits that and you do pull that trigger, you're not then going to regret it later. It's not going to be FOMO on your end. It's going to be a considered decision on your end where you weighed up all of the sort of aspects and you were able to actually make a great decision. So that's what I kind of want to get across. Bit of a different kind of video, short one, just more of a, hey, it's dipping. You don't need to buy the dip right now. You can hold off and make sure that the purchase that you're making is a good purchase and a long-term purchase that you actually want to get into. So hopefully you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting up that subscribe button while you're down there. Also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
I can't believe what I did. I got the bag, then I dipped. Yeah, love for the dough and I simped. Louis V satchel equipped. Yeah, she want a piece of the kid. Spanish mommy from Madrid. Yeah, shawty want all of this shit. I cannot handle my bitch. No, no, no. We toast to the wind.